A further reduction in the hierarchy of the police force sees 5 deputy commissioners leave the organization with immediate effect. Our BJ McDermott has the story.
Following the forced retirement of 3 assistant commissioners, 5 deputy commissioner of police today received letters indicating to them to take vacation with immediate effect. The 5 include Officer in Charge of Criminal Investigation, Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander, Officer in Charge of Uniformed Officers ACP Ashton Greenslade, the Officer in Charge of Operational Support ACP Ken Strawn, Officer in Charge of Public Safety ACP Lehman Delvo, and 5th on the list, the Officer in Charge of the Police Tribunal ACP Theophilus Cunningham. We understand that the decision came as a shock to the officers and without notice. National Security Minister Marvin Dames, when pressed on the issue today by the media, said that there will be more cases like this to come. He added that there are quite a number of officers throughout the ranks with an excessive amount of vacation leave, which successive governments have allowed to pile up.
As a government, we have taken a position now where we're holding not only police and defense force officers, corrections officers, but the fact is that we find that in law enforcement, the problem is greater. But we're trying to bring everything back in line. Now, there are some persons whose leave will run into retirement, but they understand that.
The minister added that this move is all a part of transforming the force and admitted that the government must do a better job at preparing officers for leave.
We need to get more in this place where we empower people, where we develop people, so that if we're not there, somebody else takes over. We're all just passing through. We met these agencies here, we're going to leave them here as well. The test is in what condition we leave them in when we move off the scene. But we're talking about individuals, majority who are on leave, okay, who have in excess of, as I said before, in excess of a year, and in some cases as much as close to 2 years. And so we can't beat that any more than I have said.
These senior officers are joining Assistant Commissioner of Police Anthony Dean, Assistant Commissioner Clarence Reckley, and Assistant Commissioner of Police Emmerich Seymour, who received similar letters last month, which the opposition termed as victimization. No word has been given as to who will replace these officers. Meantime, the National Security Minister maintains that the morale of the RBPF is strong. Reporting for JCN News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Environmentalists breaking their silence on the heads of agreement the government inked with Disney Cruise Lines for a multi-million-dollar project at Lighthouse Point in Bannermantown, South Eleuthera. The deal, tabled in the House of Assembly yesterday, has been castigated as the worst environmental, economic, and societal fears being released. A betrayal of the promises made of the economic future of the people of South Eleuthera and the very mandate of transparency and openness to which the Minnis administration was elected. What the group finds conspicuously missing from the heads of agreement are the sections enumerating concessions made by the government. What we see described, said Re-Earth President Sam Duncombe, is a high-volume, high-impact project encompassing not only massive infrastructure, but substantial and irreversible altercation of the natural surroundings at Lighthouse Point. She added that it's a repeat, or worse, of Castaway Key, where Disney quite literally manufactured an artificial beach, dredged an enormous channel, and turned what used to be a pristine island into an amusement park that bears virtually no resemblance to the rest of the Bahamas. And despite the company's commitment that are economic opportunities for Bahamians, Mrs. Duncombe says Disney stipulates that it will not only construct but operate all dining and beverage merchandise and retail, spa, aquatics, and recreational facilities at Lighthouse Point. Thanks to the tabled heads of agreement, it has also been revealed that Disney will lease the seabed for the next 50 years to build a $250 million pier. What environmentalists don't see is a commitment to apply the highest internationally recognized environmental standards, independent of corporate interests and cruise port standards, and assurance of public access and level economic playing field on which can effectively compete for tourist dollars, or that bringing 12,000 to 20,000 people can create more than 150 jobs. Riort's views are shared by Brief, Save the Bays, and Waterkeepers Bahamas. Now, when contacted, Disney declined to comment on the environmentalist concerns. A special moment in the life of the local Catholic Church, a priest of rare gifts and tremendous talents who bore the marks of a great citizen, good Christian, great priest, and excellent pastor of soul laid to rest. Armakush Lapinder has the story of today's farewell to what some have deemed a Bahamian prince.
In life, Monsignor Preston Moss was said to be a particular man who liked things done the right way. In death, he ensured this remained the case by giving clear instructions for his final rites. As Catholic Archbishop Patrick Pinder told the many who turned out to St. Francis Xavier Cathedral this morning, the widely known, highly respected and appreciated and deeply loved Monsignor directed that his funeral be very inexpensive, a simple mass of Christian burial without a eulogy, that he be buried at St. Anselm's parish where he served as pastor for more than 20 years. His instructions also included the hymns to be sung. The Archbishop first met then Father Moss during the summer of 1972 as a first-year seminary student assigned to St. Bede's parish.
Even though he would get angry, his anger lasted but an instant. It never got the better of him. He had a peace of mind and heart. He had an equanimity of spirit that I've rarely seen in anyone. It is no wonder that people found him so approachable, so accessible, so easy to confide in, so profoundly caring.
He was also credited with having a very clear, definite, and consistent understanding of priestly ministry that lasted more than 53 years, a benchmark.
His ministry, his commitment, his endurance, his perseverance is sacred scripture proclaimed eloquently in human flesh. He taught us that we should never allow our passions to destroy our potential. We should never allow our passions to destroy our possibilities. We should never allow the storm of passion to shipwreck our future.
Monsignor Moss entered the priesthood during a difficult time for the Catholic Church. Still, he stuck with it, eventually serving as the Vicar General for 3 bishops, including the present.
I am most grateful for his support, his advice, his friendship as my closest co-worker.
As for the value of his example in the life of the country,
a democracy is not merely a machine we can set around and expect to work properly. No. A democracy is a community of persons, and for it to work well, for it to flourish, requires that its citizens live certain values all the time. Among those values are honesty, civility, respect for life, respect for law, respect for time, commitment, self-discipline, and even sacrifice.
And while there is grief in the wake of Monsignor Moss's passing, there is, said Archbishop Pinder, gratitude for his having entered our lives. For JCN News, I'm Armakush Lapinder.
Again, as per his instructions, Monsignor Moss was buried in St. Anselm's Church Cemetery. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.